Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I appreciate it. We have a very special guest today. I feel like I say that every episode, but I really do appreciate everybody that comes on. I have Brett. He is the co-owner of New Wave Concrete.
Correct.
Welcome to the podcast, man.
Thanks. Yeah.
How you doing?
Good.
You got to
Great.
talk into the mic, bro.
Good. Great.
How was 2024 for you, actually?
2024.
This is the new year. Let's do a 2024 recap for Brett.
It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Busy.
It was busy?
Yeah.
How many of those months were you working?
All of them.
You worked all... You don't take a break during the cold months?
We do. January was really cold last year.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to recall if it was a mild winter or it was kind of...
I was trying to think of when we started your project. You were one of the first ones.
Yeah, it was definitely like in February, maybe beginning March.
Was it March? I was thinking March. I can't remember.
Maybe you're right.
But yeah, you were one of the first ones.
Yeah.
Then off and running.
Yeah.
July came. It was hot.
Mm-hmm.
Just went like crazy.
So it was a good, busy year for you.
Yeah.
Is that the way you like it?
Yeah.
Okay. You don't like it like kind of a steady. It just felt like you were sprinting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By July, I was ready for December. Every year's that way, right? Yeah, it was a good year.
Brett, you just show up ready to work all the time, man.
What else are you supposed to do?
Have you always been like that?
Yeah, let's get it. Let's go.
Yeah?
Yeah. Get her done, man.
Get her done, man. You know, I'm actually curious, how did you even learn how to do concrete? Like what was that like?
Oh man. After I graduated high school, I did a summer of work at Chief Construction.
Yeah. So you were like 18, 19 or something?
18, yep. And at that time, they were working at Imes over in Aurora.
Uh-huh.
And it was something like a 800 by 800 project, 800 square feet, or 800 foot by 800 foot warehouse. They did it in two phases, I think. 400 by 400.
Yeah.
And one, I was a grunt, of course. So we tied a lot of rebar that summer. And
like just by hand, or did you have a tool?
No, all by hand.
Like they just threw you a pair of pliers and they're like, just go ahead.
Wire wheels, pliers.
Yeah.
And we just tied rebar for days. Literally days. I can't remember how big them piers are in that building, but they were huge.
Uh-huh.
They would, just a lot of rebar tying.
Yeah.
It was crazy. That was a fun project.
Yeah.
But that was probably my first commercial concrete job I was a part of.
Uh-huh. So the rebars are they're like X's, right? Basically. Yeah. And then you got to tie them together using some strings,
some wire.
Yeah. Some wire. Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. I mean, at that time I couldn't even read a blueprint. So I can't tell you what the size of the rebar was, how many yards of concrete we were pouring.
Yeah.
None of that.
But that's like the basic task of like doing some concrete work is tying some rebars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tying rebar, there's grading out, setting forms, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But I was just a grunt, so
yeah,
that was the grunt work.
So then what'd you do after that?
Gee whiz. Went on to college for a year. I was so smart I graduated in a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll leave it at that. Came back and went to Chief again. Went back to work at Chief and was on the steel crew for a while and wasn't a fan of heights.
Uh-huh.
Don't like being up there. So I switched back over to concrete, and that was in 2012, I went over to concrete,
Mm-hmm.
worked there, and uh, that's when Greg, my uncle, went out on his own with his business partner and started New Wave Concrete, and just went from there.
So then you went with
Started,
him and
yeah, I
started working with him.
started with them. They started, I believe, July of 2012,
Mm-hmm.
and I jumped on board that following April
Mm-hmm.
after winter. Haven't looked back.
And then you just been pouring. Do you remember what that first job was when you guys were like on your own?
I don't. I wasn't in 2012. I wasn't with them with
Oh,
their
okay.
first job, so I don't remember what the actually. You know what I do? I know what the first job they did after they left Chief, um, and it was a front step and landing on a residential house.
Mm-hmm.
And years, I don't remember how many years later, we actually went back and done a building out back behind the house for the guy. Um, years later.
A repeat customer.
Yeah, repeat customer. We like them.
So 2012. This is 2025 now.
Yep.
It's almost over 23 years. 2012. No, that's 13
No,
years.
13 years.
Quick math.
Quick math.
13 years. That's a long time to be doing concrete.
Yeah. I I bought Greg's other partner out in let's see here. 3 years ago.
Uh-huh.
This April will be 3 years.
Uh-huh.
So
So then now you guys kind of just work together on different projects.
yes, sir. Greg takes care of all the bidding, and I take care of everything out in the field with the guys.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're out there, dude.
Yeah.
You're out there every day.
Yeah.
I remember when you guys were doing our driveway, our parking lot. Yeah, I'd wake up and you guys were well, I probably woke up to the sound of whatever was going on out there.
Right? They're
Um,
here.
I think that's a good transition. What's a normal day for you? Like somebody who doesn't know anything about your occupation. Like what time does that start?
No, man. Just varies, in July, August, June, we're meeting at the shop. It could be 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning.
And when do you guys start so early?
It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's fighting for that first truck of concrete.
Oh.
Everybody wants that morning pour. It's cold, cooler, not cold.
Yeah. And why does it matter that it's cooler?
It's just easier pouring conditions. It gets hot, sets up faster, less time to work it.
Oh, sure. So not necessarily just like working condition for you guys, but just like
yeah,
and that too.
Working condition for the concrete and working condition for us.
Yeah.
We like to be off, finish the day around 2-3 o'clock in July. Doesn't always happen, but
yeah,
that's ideal.
Have you seen some like repercussions of working later that have personally kind of like
meaning
do people get sick, or is it just kind of like
you just gotta obviously stay hydrated.
Yeah.
Stop in and get a boba.
Yeah. So you guys start as early as 4 or 5 in the morning, and then the trucks come around.
You got to call ahead. In July, I mean, we're booking concrete anywhere from 1 week to 2 weeks out.
Yeah. You have to like reserve your spot.
Yeah.
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 That's kind of tough to do, right? Like, how can you guess where you're going to be at a week or two?
You schedule the concrete and then you make sure you're ready for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where sometimes staying later than 3 o'clock, staying 4, 5, 6, 7 o'clock to get everything formed up or ready for the next day, knowing that you got concrete coming at 7, 6, 5, whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good stuff.
Man, so you're really actually battling that logistically quite a bit, huh?
Yes, every day.
Yeah.
There was a time when you could just call for concrete. You just tear a driveway out, set it up, and be like, "Hey, I need some concrete."
Yeah, what's
Now,
up with that? It's just is it because of the demand is so high, or is it the
I
lack
think,
of like the lack of concrete companies, or
it's everything. I mean, just look at all the construction going on in Grand Island.
yeah,
There's a lot of concrete getting poured.
yeah.
A lot of companies pouring concrete.
Huh, that's interesting. Would it just not be cost effective or timely for you guys to like make your own concrete, or is that just like a crazy thought? Just as somebody who doesn't do concrete.
I don't know. They actually have like trailers or trucks that are built to make concrete on site.
Uh huh.
They don't. I don't know a whole lot about them.
Mm-hmm.
They do small. I think they're set up more for like 3, 4, 5 yard pours.
Yeah.
Um, but like I don't know a whole lot about them.
Oh yeah, that's true. So like if you have a really big pour.
Yeah, you can order like have the sand and everything ordered there.
Uh huh.
There's hoppers on the truck. It just mixes everything together and
Yeah.
bam, spits out the concrete.
I'm actually curious about that. So you seen those concrete trucks and it's like rolling
Uh huh.
when they show up to you. So
Yep.
there's already concrete in that, or they mix it when they get there, or
Well, it just depends on what like the different. There's a wet batch plant and there's a dry batch plant. The wet batch plants will mix their concrete inside the plant in a hopper, and then it just puts the concrete in the truck, and
mm-hmm,
it comes to us,
mm-hmm.
and we pour it out of the truck. The other the dry batch plant is everything's loaded into the truck, and the truck is the mixer.
Yeah.
So
So why would you pick like why would you order one truck over the other?
whoever can get to you,
Yeah.
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 And I mean, Grand Island has a dry batch plant and a wet batch plant, and
Uh-huh.
they're both super busy.
How far out do they deliver? Like, can you not accept a job in like, I don't know, let's say like Ravenna or something because they
Well,
don't
see,
go
like,
that far?
Ravenna has a
Their own.
little, yep.
Oh, okay.
They've got a small batch plant. It's a one man plant, and um, I'm pretty sure the Grand Island plants go that far,
Yeah.
and they're strategically placed, you know, so that
Oh, but that would also cost you more, right? Do they charge you by the mile or something?
yeah, there's fuel charges and mileage charges and
Yeah.
all that good stuff.
Yeah. And then you just have to guess how much concrete you need, and they'll bring it.
The app,
The app.
the app,
Yeah.
concrete app calculator.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
or you can go the old school,
Mm-hmm.
use a calculator, pen and paper.
Yeah. And how much extra do you always add?
um, I just depends, I guess.
Yeah.
You know.
Because
Um,
that sounds like the worst thing in the world if you're short by a very little
oh
amount.
yeah, short by a half yard, and you're an hour away.
Yeah.
That's not something you want.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So when you're further away, obviously, you're probably ordering a yard extra or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Whereas if you're in town, you probably just order really tight.
Yeah.
So
Um, when you think about doing concrete work, people just think about like what they call in the industry is like finishing work, right? It's
yeah,
like when you're like making it pretty and you're like leveling it and stuff.
yeah.
Like how much of that is the actual job, man?
Oh well, you got the other side of things. You got the prep work to get it ready to pour, um, and that's the other half of that. And then
That's like you digging up the dirt and
yep,
leveling it.
yep, tearing out any concrete that's already there that's getting replaced, or um, any dirt, trees. Just depends on what you're doing.
Sprinkler systems.
Sprinkler systems. We're really good at finding them.
Yeah.
um, and then there's the aspect you got to come back and clean up and backfill and it's not just pouring concrete.
Yeah.
You know, then you got to go see customers on the daily.
Yeah.
Or the next projects to bid and all that fun stuff.
Yeah. I guess that was just kind of the point I was trying to make is that's just the thing that you think about. But, you know, you're like, well, why are you guys charging me so much for this concrete? Well, it's just like, you know, because you show up on finishing day, but they didn't see you guys digging it all up and leveling it in and packing the dirt and putting in the forms and the cutting and
cutting the concrete, all the tools involved in that.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Is that fun to drive a Bobcat? I'm not gonna lie, it looks really fun. Speaking of tools, or is it just kind of old?
I get sick of it.
You get sick of driving the Bobcat? Is that hot in that thing or what?
Air conditioned.
Oh, it's air conditioned?
Oh yeah, there's air conditioned.
What? Well, you guys just got a new one, right? I don't know if the old one did. Well, the old one, the door didn't even want to close. I remember you guys are always banging on it.
No, yeah. There's a heater, air conditioning. You can get them with radios.
Yeah.
You can get them with air ride control.
Yeah.
You can get them with all the fancy stuff.
I was thinking when y'all ain't working, man, you should just have that Bobcat out there and people can just like pay for like 30 minutes, go drive a Bobcat for fun, like acting like they're working or something.
New wave attractions.
Dude, that'd be dope.
I think they actually got there's like an amusement park in Texas or Tennessee somewhere. You can run like excavators.
Oh, yeah. I think I know what you're talking about.
Dump trucks.
Yeah.
All the fun things.
Of course it's in Texas. They just have...
They have all the fun things there.
Well, I'm sure you have a lot of long days at work, but like, can you remember like a really terrible day? What was like the worst day on the job site you've had? What happened? Did it rain on you guys?
Man, I don't know. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
They're all good days.
They're all good days?
Yeah. I can't think of nothing.
What do you think about when you say it's like they're all good days?
There ain't no bad days. Bad days when you got to tear out concrete that you poured.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to do that.
Yeah.
I always say I hate tearing out concrete anyways.
Yeah.
I especially hate tearing out concrete that I poured and now there's an issue.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. It's no fun.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, would it be fair to say you enjoy what you do then, or?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's a blast. I love it.
What are some things that are like really satisfying about the job that you think you really kind of?
Pulling up to the Eddy Street Boba.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that.
Just seeing it?
The guys and I did that.
Yeah.
Just seeing you, you know, when I met you, like, God, I really want to do this. This is what I want to do, you know, and like your project, it went from what we were going to do 4 stalls.
Yeah.
To you moved a garage.
Yeah.
Tore out a bunch of dirt. Said we're going to go from house to building.
Yeah.
Street to the fence.
Yeah.
And we did it.
Yeah.
And I mean, just seeing the smile on your face as we left that's what it's all about.
There is, yeah, man. Talk about adulting, man. getting a driveway.
Right?
God dang.
Who knew that would be so exciting?
Oh man, it's
almost more exciting than buying a washer and dryer.
And you know, I was trying to think of the last time that driveway is gonna be there for a long time.
Forever.
It might be there for forever.
Forever.
Forever ever.
Forever ever. We hope.
It's definitely gonna outlive me for sure. Yeah.
Right?
What do you think people think about blue collar jobs like yours, man?
Oh man. Around here, it's
Kind of normal.
kind of the normal way of
Yeah.
life,
Yeah.
you know? Um, yeah. I mean, that's everybody in my family. All the guys, aunts, uncles, everybody's probably considered blue collar worker in some way.
Yeah.
So it's just a normal.
But you never felt like you were doing something less than anybody else or nothing like that?
No.
Yeah.
Paving the world,
Yeah.
one location at a time.
I'll tell you what, in my personal experience, man, so I went to school in the University of Omaha and I got my undergrad there. And I went worked for Verizon. I was working for their business sales in Portland. Always dressed like, you know,
Suit and
well.
tie.
No, not quite suit and tie, but I used to back in the day, the Verizon. I started Verizon in 2011 and I don't know if you remember going to that store, but people wearing ties at the cell phone store.
Really?
Oh man, everybody was making money at the Verizon store back in 2011. iPhones just launched, like smartphones were the thing. Anyways,
Right?
but I'll tell you, I was working, I was always working in office and stuff. And then it wasn't until I came back to Nebraska and then did trucking, did this stuff. It it doesn't even come close to the satisfaction of working with your hands, man.
Absolutely.
People that don't necessarily do that kind of work ever. They don't understand the. It's like playing Tetris, like
Yeah.
in my head. You know, it's
Mm-hmm.
like you're out there and um, it's fun, dude.
It's fun.
It's
It is.
fun. Like when I was working in
It's
trucking and I
gratifying.
was like wrenching on those trucks and like it's so fun, dude. Learning how to do that stuff and just not giving a F how I looked, I was just filthy dirty. But like the dirtier I was, the better I felt like I was really working hard, Like I
Right?
show up and my wife's like, what the heck is on you? Like I got
I was
paint and all
working.
this stuff. Yeah, I'm like, don't look at me, I worked a lot. Um so yeah, I think extremely underrated working with your hands and doing
Yeah,
that kind of work. Very satisfying.
absolutely. It's imagine like I always think of it like this. If there was a map laid out and there was a red line for everywhere I've stepped, think of all the red lines I've put in Grand Island, you know?
Yeah.
Like I had the opportunity to go pour concrete in Alaska. Think of all the red dots I have where my footprints were at in Alaska,
Yeah.
you know?
Uh-huh.
And like you've been all over. So think of all the red dots,
Yeah.
little footprints that follow you.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
Gratifying.
And yeah, like talk about like building a city. It's like you're actually building the city.
Mm-hmm.
Like yeah,
Yeah.
weird.
And then to watch it all come together.
All right, man, let's get into some concrete questions, Like how do you like if I'm a homeowner and I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna get like a concrete bid.
Yeah.
I think the toughest thing about concrete is you don't know the quality of the work until 5, 6 years down the road, and that person's gone. You already paid for the job, right? Concrete starts cracking,
Yeah.
things are shifting. Like, how can you distinguish like a quality contractor versus somebody who is just trying to give you a quick pour and then take your money and then like bounce?
Well,
Are there some questions you can ask them, or what
yeah.
do you
I
think?
mean, licensed, insured is probably a huge thing. Um, and you actually have to register with the state of Nebraska and have a contractor's registry. So obviously, if they're not a part of that,
Yeah.
then
So how can you find out if somebody's like part of like you would
um,
just call the state of Nebraska, you
I'm
think, or you
sure
ask for some
it's
documentation from them, or
well, yeah. I carried our um, like registration with this for the state of Nebraska.
uh-huh.
I got a copy in the truck.
Yeah.
I don't know if a lot of people know about it or not. I don't think I've ever been asked for it, but we have it.
I didn't know
Um,
about it.
and I'm sure you can go on to the state of Nebraska's website
Uh-huh.
and find it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, there's that. Um, I don't know. You gotta, I don't probably like a judge a character type of thing, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, like, I was asking you a bunch of questions when we
Uh-huh.
were pouring.
Yeah.
You were pouring, and I'm like, how come there's no rebar out here? And you're like, well, they don't really need any rebar in your application.
Yeah. I,
I was asking you about like,
everybody's got a different opinion on rebar.
yeah,
Um, it's, rebar is not going to add to the strength of the concrete.
yeah,
It's not going to make your PSIs any stronger
mm-hmm.
uh, when you go to do like cylinder tests and stuff. But it's definitely got its place. It'll tie two pieces. It'll tie like a dock wall to the footing.
Yeah,
There's definitely a place for rebar, and then there's places where it doesn't need to be.
yeah.
So
And you guys did use rebars, but in a different application, in between the slabs,
yep,
like they weren't just tied together.
yeah,
Which, if you guys are looking, they like because they pour the concrete in like 10 by 10 slabs, right?
well, that's what we cut it in 10 by 10 slabs.
Oh yeah, you cut in 10
Yeah,
10 slabs.
I
Oh,
don't I
but
don't remember how long it was on your project, but we did it in 3 strips
yeah.
so we could get the trucks back into the project.
Oh yeah, okay. So you did that based on just
Mm-hmm.
how much you can pour and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
What about like the thickness of the concrete? Is that something you should ask your contractor? Like how thick are you pouring?
Yeah. Absolutely. I unless it's a patio, I won't typically recommend a 4-inch slab for a driveway or a garage.
Yeah.
If the customer absolutely wants it, you know, customer's always right, I guess. Maybe.
So what do you recommend for a driveway?
Driveways, we use a 2x6 form, which ends up being 5.5-inch.
Yeah. So
Form.
5.5, 6 feet.
Yeah, 5.5, 6.
Yeah.
Is what we figure in most of our bids. Back patios, foot traffic is where I would recommend a 4-inch slab.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, 6
Yeah.
for most things. If you're gonna start putting tractors and semis on it, that'd be a place to look at rebar, or look at bumping it up to maybe an 8-inch slab.
Yeah.
Just depends on what application you're going to use it for.
Sure. Yeah, there's no sense trying to charge a customer more money to have a over structured, over engineering driveway if they're just going to be parking their little sports car or regular car on it.
Maserati.
Yeah. Maserati. I'm not with the Maserati.
That sounded good.
Yeah, so those are some quality questions you can ask your contractor. Or if you just want to feel a little more safe, you can just call Brett at New Wave and he can come and educate you on the nuances of doing your concrete. Speaking of contacting you, that's something I actually would like to compliment you on. I've worked with a lot of contractors and people just don't answer your calls or texts. I don't know what it is.
That's something we've from day one have said it's a must.
Oh yeah,
got to stay in contact with customers. Can't ignore them.
And even I'm sorry, I'm busy. Give me till the end of the day to figure something out. Even that's appreciated,
Oh yeah.
Versus just leaving somebody on red.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You start ignoring a customer and they're gonna go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And that's not what we want.
Yeah.
So
give me a K, bro.
Yeah,
Give me something
something.
here.
Give me something. Don't give me the voicemail.
Yeah, don't give me the voicemail. But I think the amount of contractors, apparently, to the amount of needs there are, sometimes in some occupations, I don't know, plumbing, electrical, they just, I feel like they just don't care, man. I feel like I have a pretty good team of contractors that took me a little bit of time to like figure out who's gonna like show up or not.
Yeah,
And the people that show up, you got to pay them what they're worth, because
absolutely.
because they'll show up for you. More
Yeah,
importantly, you know,
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
when we were doing the web store, I think I just texted you the night before, and I'm like, "Hey, dude, I gotta cut concrete to
Yeah,
run plumbing," and you guys just showed up the next day, and I'm just like, I wasn't expecting that at all, you know.
yeah,
But the timing was just good, and
yeah. I don't
you
even
made it
remember.
work.
I don't remember what we were doing.
Probably nothing.
Yeah, probably nothing. I actually think we just gotten back from Alliance,
Yeah,
and that was a job in itself.
yeah,
But that was a long day, and so I think is what we did is it was we just came here and it was like a half a day's work. So
yeah,
otherwise, we were gonna take the day off
yeah.
because like the day before we had left Grand Island, I think at like 3 o'clock, and it was like 11 when we got home.
Uh huh.
So
Oh man, I was considering doing that myself, but there was just no way. There was no way. There was so much floor to cut up. I probably would have tore this whole building down the way I would have done it. It would have been all crooked and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, and then the neighbors had a fire.
Yeah, actually, Brett was the first one to call me or text me. He was like, "Dude, there's like a fire truck in front of your building," and we showed up, and that honestly might have done a big one for us, because we might have had smoke damage if I didn't come up and just open up the doors and let it air out, you know, because
Yeah,
Hunan's had smoke damage, and
really.
the other one over there too. But well, guys, I think I'm gonna end the podcast right here. Um, do you have anything else you want to add for 2025 that you're excited about, man?
Just another year.
Another year?
Let's bring on spring.
Yeah.
Start pouring some concrete.
There's no way you're that excited about pork.
He's
He's like, my kids are gonna be going to college soon. I need to,
right.
yeah,
Gotta make that.
gotta make that dope.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. I'm gonna post Brett's information. If you are looking for something to pour your concrete, give him a holla, or at least just for some advising.
Yeah. Give us a call.
Or if you want, I was gonna make a joke about you playing softball or whatever, but I couldn't come up with anything.
It's all fun and games until somebody breaks a leg.
It's all Hey, thank you so much for coming by, man. And
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you again next year when you're
Opening up store number 3.
I think we're maxed out. Unless, well, I am having a baby. If I can train this baby to open up a third boba store, it might work out. All right, everybody, we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you.